And hello and welcome to the Jeff Ahern Show. Good to see you all. Hope you're all having an awesome week. Let's get right into the news, shall we? Checking out Fox News over here. Indefinitely postponed is the banner headline on Fox News. Is referring to Joe Biden. Top Biden official makes major change of plans as China balloon controversy unfolds. So I guess China, they sent out a big balloon. Yeah, well, that was really nice. Some flying balloons over the U.S. Apparently, it's a spy balloon designed to look at all our little installations, see where our missiles are placed, see who's running around, see what Ted's up to, I guess. And this is not a new thing. I mean, okay, so it's weird. It's front page news because this happens all the time. Usually we do it with planes. We fly over them, they fly over us. We kind of, nudge, wink, wink, don't blow each other's planes up when we notice it happening. We know what's going on. It's never a mystery. I think it's very rare, if ever, that you don't notice on your radar somewhere that you've got a very high altitude plane currently spying on your various installations. I mean, it happens. Is it just that it's a balloon? Are they just like, China's not even trying anymore. At least they used to fly like somewhat fast spy planes over us to look. Now they're just shooting up balloons. It's like that's just lazy spy work right there. It's very lazy spy work. You're like, come on, China, up your game a little bit. I mean, if you're gonna throw a balloon up and spy on us with a balloon, we're gonna say something. That's the rules. You got to at least use a plane. Put a little effort in, China. Spend a little jet fuel and get an honest to God plane to spy over us. We'll let that like we usually do. But these balloons, they got to stop. It's embarrassing. People can see them with their telescopes. So there's a spy balloon flying over us, and so we're not going to go to China, Biden administration, and visit because of this spy incident. But I mean, we do it, they do it. It happens all the time. It's not really news, except that it's a balloon. That's what makes it kind of newsworthy. It's like, oh, they're doing it with a balloon. Wow, and apparently they've been doing it with balloons for a while, so they've been very, and in a way, Biden should be happy. This is a very environmentally sound way to spy on us. I mean, they're not blowing jet fumes into our air, messing up our atmosphere. You should be saying, "Hey, good job, China. Maybe we'll switch to balloons too. Make this world a better place." So that's the banner headline that means there's probably not a lot else going on today. If that's the banner headline, okay. Let's just a couple more of these. So the whole thing's like this China balloon thing. Very dangerous. China expert sounds alarm on spy balloon hovering over you. This happens all the time. Why are we all getting amped up on this? All Russia does it. We do it. I mean, this is bad. This is like business as usual. If you were in like a war, if you were in an active war with somebody, then yeah, you'd be blowing these things up. But this just happens. I mean, it's weird. It's odd to me that this is being. I honestly think just because it's a balloon, people just get fixated with like, oh, it's a balloon. That's different. I don't get it. Ranchers are warning. This is on Fox also. That disease could decimate cattle industry, and it's crossing the U.S. border. All right, it's entirely possible. I mean, I feel like there's a lot bigger issues. I feel like today is like make a big deal about nothing day over on Fox. I mean, it's not nothing, granted, but it kind of is. Disease that could decimate cattle industry is crossing the U.S. border. Here's the thing: there's fentanyl crossing the U.S. border. There's children being sex trafficked across the U.S. border. There's just career criminals, murderers. People coming over the border that shouldn't be. That's crazy. And yeah, maybe they got some cattle disease with them too. None of it's good. I mean, I think the end game here is you start enforcing border law. That's not happening in the time Biden's going to be in the White House. It's not. He's proven it. He made Kamala the border czar. That alone should be, let you know nothing's going to happen when it comes to the border. He finally visited, just a PR stunt, but nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. I mean, nothing changes because Republicans don't have enough power to make it change yet until he's out of office. It's just going to be status quo. And then every now and then they'll be like, oh, we're going to do something. They're not going to do anything. Nothing's going to happen. That's part of the plan. They need new voters. And when you need new voters to replace the ones who are waking up to how horrible your policies are making their lives, you need them in bulk. You need like a Costco. You need a Costco delivery of new voters, and that's what our wide open border is. It's a Costco delivery of new voters for Democrats, who they strangely enough want to make these illegals, able to vote, without having U.S. citizenship. That's getting knocked around a lot too. And in some places, it's happening. You get driver's license in a lot of places without being a citizen. So what's voting? I mean, it's not like you need an ID to vote anyway. Ah! Do you see what's happening? I know if you're watching this, you probably do. And if you're Democrat, maybe you just don't care. You know what's happening. You're like, yeah, good. Hooray us. It's so corrupt. It's so wrong on so many levels because you're flooding cities. I mean, New York is a great example. They're complaining. Mayor Adams, he's an imbecile. He's getting up there. He's not de Blasio level stupid yet, but he's every day he inches a little closer. He's complaining about all the migrants coming in. Well, do something about your party and then their wide open border policy, or shut up. Seriously, just shut up about it. If you're not going to go to and say, hey, we need to enforce border law and mean it, then just be quiet. You're flapping your lips. There's nothing behind what you're saying. Oh, and by the way, I did a story on I was going to say de Blasio. Again, he's getting close. He's getting close to de Blasio territory. Eric Adams of New York. And what he did recently, classic Dem, is he's now making city employees, all state employees, take mandatory. You can't get out of it. Sorry. So long, freedom. Welcome to Democrat-controlled New York. Mandatory CRT training. CRT, of course, stands for creating racial tensions. And I'm not, maybe that's not how they categorize it, but it's what it is, and it's what it's designed to do. Again, because Democrats only can exist if there is division. They're not the party of unity. They're the party of divisiveness, and that's how they get votes. So, of course, if they're in charge, they're going to mandate a training to get you to hate, well, in this case, white people, I guess, right? That's pretty much what CRT is. White people bad, everybody else good. Boo, white people. That's CRT training in a nutshell. I saved you a couple days or whatever they were going to make you stay there for. I don't know if you'll get credit for it. You have to check with Mayor Adams. So so he's got this CRT training. You take it, swear allegiance to agreeing white people are awful or whatever it is they have you do. And then his other thing, horribly racist, of course, as his CRT training, is that he wants everybody hired by the city and contracts by the city to all be viewed through a racial equity lens. Quota system. That's what it is. A racial equity lens means merit, whatever. It's all about race, which of course would be the definition of racism. But no, it's okay. It's the good kind. What? So that's what's going on there. And that's the thing. A racial equity lens, and I talk about this in my in the news piece I did on it, is a blurry lens. It's a very blurry lens because if you get a resume, literally the only thing you're able to view on the resume is the race of the applicant, which of course would be racism because you're basing your judgment and your decision based solely upon race. Maybe they took a course somewhat related to whatever job you were going to give them at some point in their lives, but even if they didn't, so what? They're the right color, so you're going to just install them in. Oh, I knew Mark. I didn't think you were here. I didn't think you were paying attention, Mark. Mark's going to try and correct me. I like when he corrects me because sometimes he's got some points. So basically the racial equity lens is designed not to focus on merit, which is what we should be focusing on and taking color out of the equation, thereby not being racist, but rather your skin color. All right, so racial equity means, this is Mark. Racial equity means looking at the entirety of history. Why are we looking at the entirety of history, Mark? I'm trying to hire a plumber. Why don't we get a guy who knows really good at plumbing? I want the best plumber. Why am I going into the entirety of history? And history is written by the victors. So it's even that's not very accurate, right? I mean, that's what I've heard. And making sure everyone, okay, I agree with the second part of your statement. Racial equity means, if you took out looking at the entirety of history part, I would agree with it. Racial equity means looking at racial equity means making sure everybody is treated fairly. I'm on board with that. I just took out the part I didn't like. Yeah, making sure everyone's treated fairly. Making sure, and here's the thing, making sure everyone's treated fairly would be basing your decision based on merit. That's what it would be. I mean, if you're going to hire someone, what's the fairest way to hire someone? You hire the best person, regardless of race, gender, sexuality. You just hire the best person. That's fairness. That's fairness. Any other thing, when you bring in sexuality or race or whatever it happens to be, now you've got this other really unrelated criteria. So now you're not going to get the best person. You might, but if you do, it's coincidence, and you can only hope for so many coincidences that you happen to hire someone based on race and they happen to be the best person for the job. You need to hire on merit first. You need to take race off the resume entirely, sex off the resume entirely, and just here's the resume of the person. And then you can base at least your initial hiring process on that as to who you're going to look at. That's fair. That's fairness. That's equity. That's being judged on the content of your character, or in this case, your skill level, which goes into your character, and not the color of your skin. The other way is it's just racism. And racism is wrong, period. There's not a good, Democrats have this good kind of racism. We're like, okay, we'll screw this group. And then but it's just racism. It's it's race. It is. It's all wrong. It's all wrong. And the other thing I don't like about the approved Democrat racism, which is out there, let's be honest, is more and more groups are falling into this big pile. Obviously, white people, okay, we're at the top of the list, but now you got Asians too. You have Asians right now suing Harvard, and good for them, because they're not being admitted, even though they have the highest test scores, because they feel Harvard feels like they have too many Asians. If they're the best, if they meet the criteria, if they have the most merit, if they have the highest scores, then they deserve to beat out someone with lower scores, and whether that's white, Hispanic, black, it doesn't matter. Just merit. Why is merit such a terrible thing? Why can't we not base things on? I don't, makes me nuts. All right, now Mark's talking about my plumber. I actually have a pretty good plumber. He's an Armenian guy. Not that really matters, but he's a pretty good plumber. Now, if you want to hire a plumber to support your community, don't plumbers are important. An Irish plumber, I've never had an Irish plumber. I would lean that way, being Irish, but that would make me. I don't know if that would make me racist. Would that make? I mean, that's like maybe. And then you talk about AOC. Mark says, didn't you hear AOC and Omar saying attacked on women of color? Because, oh my God, Omar is she's a buffoon. And again, it's not, I hate when it's like, oh, this is because she's Muslim. No, it's because she's a buffoon. She happens to be Muslim, but don't throw all Muslim people under the bus because of this dud. My wife's father is a Muslim guy, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't like her either. I'll have to talk to him, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't like her either. And Omar, I mean, she's well, first of all, she's socialist, which that alone is enough for me to kick her out. And she's flagrantly anti-Semitic. But no, that's fine. Yeah. No, this is terrible, kicking her off. She's such a valuable asset to our nation. I don't think so. Mark said, no different than buy black, buy low. You know what? I think it is. I don't approve of that either. I don't like buy and then insert race here, buy and then insert sex. I mean, God, that's so divisive. It's so exclusionary. It's racist. It's awful. Buy now you say buy local. Strangely, I'm actually okay with buy local, but that's because buy local is like you're supporting your local business, which could be Asian or Dutch or I don't know, Armenian, whatever. But that's not race dependent. Local includes everybody. It's just, hey, anyone who's local, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. You're local. You're in the club. You're local, and we're all hanging out with each other. I like that. But when you say by black, by Hispanic, now that's the problem. We're now back to excluding each other, dividing each other, and that's the problem. So yeah, buy local. Hell yeah. Why not? Big businesses are going to do just fine. Let's support our neighbors, whatever color they might be. But when you're like, oh, buy this color, buy that color, buy this race, buy this sexual orientation, buy this, come on. That's part of the problem. And, I was going to bring up, Al Sharpton. I just did a story on him. I put it up last night on jeffahern.com. You can check it out there. And it's, he's at the funeral for Tyree Nichols, and he's still, Al's made his career out of not paying his taxes and exploiting any opportunity to divide for his own benefit. And so he's going to do that again. So even though, the officers were black and the victim was black, the police chief's black, it's somehow still racist in nature. And at one point during the eulogy, although it was a strange eulogy, at one point during the eulogy, he actually said he was, I believe, I'm not sure, I did it right in my report because I read it, as he said it, but I believe the gist of it was he was disgusted that they were these black officers were a disgrace to the race, meaning the African American black race. And I was like, man, that's it right there. And it goes back to what we just talked about, Mark, with by black Latino, by this, by that. When he said race, he meant black. Now, if you say specifically a certain race, black, Hispanic, whatever, you're part of the problem, because the only race we should care about, and the only race that exists if you're truly not racist, is one, it's the human race. Now, when you subdivide, when you subclassify, that's about division. That makes, okay, we've got all these different groups. We can pit them against them and them again. And they're pawns on a board, and you're just playing them against each other. And while they're fighting each other and getting mad at each other over, just some stuff made up, some stuff real. But, whatever it is, the game is to get them to fight with each other. And while they're fighting with each other, you're over in the corner smoking your cigarette going, yeah, we're going to get it reelected next term, right? Yeah, I know the economy's junk, but look at them, they're all fighting each other. We'll just tell them to vote for us and we'll fix it. That's the Democrat Party agenda. That's the Democrat Party, the higher ups. That's what they do, and they're masters at it. They're masterful. So when you see someone like, Al Sharpton doing that, that's, again, we have the human race. And when that matters more than everything else, and we're not subdividing and categorizing, and you can't have this, and you can have this because you're that, and this and that, and this, that, that's when we've achieved unity. That's when we are truly a colorblind society. But the Democrat Party in particular, their whole MO is divide, subcategorize, divide, and then pit everybody against each other. And then they just sit in the corner. How you doing? It's divide and conquer. Yeah, it's not just Democrats, but it is mostly Democrats, Mark. But yeah, dividing. Mark's right though. Divide and conquer is an old, and it works. A military strategy, or in this case, a government strategy to keep power. And either side can do it. Republicans can do it. Democrats can do it. But it really is the hallmark of the Democrat Party. Republicans, I'm sure, they'll do it here and there, but you just don't see it as much. To Democrats, it's literally their entire. It's the whole game. It's the whole party system. It's how they work. I don't know that they would know what to do if they didn't have it, which is why they'll never let it go. Which is why even I did another story about, the different types of racism that supposedly there's now even unconscious racism. And I'm like, that is the most brilliant racism of all time, because even if you defeat racism, it's completely wiped off the face of the earth. It isn't, because it's unconscious. You can't. You can't beat it. It's undefeatable. And so you still need this party, the Democrats, to come in and be like, see, we told you. Sure, everyone's nice to each other. We all get along, whatever. It's all unconscious now. We'll turn you against each other yet. Yeah. All right, enterprise zones. Mark says, you may be right about that. Let me see. And again, some of these I have to read, Mark, a little more. All right, let me go back to Mark here. There are some more loyal their job. Yes. Us against them, law enforcement. In some sense, yeah, certainly for that Scorpion unit, it seemed like that was and I don't blame the mayor at all for that. She's trying to do what she can do. That unit just went rogue, if you will. But yeah, there definitely is that sense where if these units are left to their own and they don't have a leader with a good moral character, yeah, it can go to pot real fast. Enterprise zones, talked about that, Mark. Republican notion, and that's a divide tactic. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I'm not going to rule out anything, because if I don't know enough about it, maybe it is, Mark. I don't know. I don't know really much about enterprise zones. I'm ashamed to say, but at least I'll say it. I'm not going to make it up and be like, enterprise zones are making this country great. I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're a bad idea. What do I know? So you're saying things that can't be that are what? Oh my God. I just called you for something. Mark says, so you're saying there can't be things that you are taught and you don't know you are taught it, that's ingrained into society. Well, I don't know. It's to me, it's just a cop out. It's like, this is taught to you and it's ingrained in this and that. It's kind of like the whole unconscious thing, right? The unconscious, maybe that's what you're getting at, the unconscious racism. Well, you got people on the left saying, babies are racist. And this, it's like, no. Can you be taught to be racist? Oh, 100%. It's happening right now in our schools. It's called CRT. So I guess I do agree with you, Mark. Right now, it's being done through CRT. This is the oppressor. You are the oppressed, and go about your business. Do bankers and insurance agents know they are doing racist tactics? Probably some of them do. I mean, I think when you're an adult, I feel like if you're charging a minority more than you would a white person, for the exact same coverage in the exact same area where everything's the same and the only thing different is the race, and you're charging one more than the other, and there's no way you don't know that what you're doing is racist. I mean, I guess you could lie to yourself. I mean, I feel like that's pretty obvious. That's what you call a racist. That is an actual racist, Mark. And bankers, yeah, same thing. If all things are equal and this is it, right? If all things are equal and you're basing your decision on the color of the skin of one person and giving them a better deal than the other, then that is racism. Now that would go both ways. So if it's done, when the white guy gets the advantage, that's racist. If it goes the other way and the black guy gets the advantage, that's racist. Racism is racism. It's not it's okay to do it to the white guy, but not, it's just racism. It's just stop with the racism, everybody. Let's just judge each other on merit. If it's a tie, I don't know, maybe a battle to the death. I don't know, Mark. What do you think? I don't know. If it's a tie, I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe have them both deliver a speech. I don't know. How do you do that? It's a tie. I can't believe it's a complete tie. We'll have to talk about that. I don't know. There's got to be some other parameters you can figure out besides race to make your determination as to who should get the job if you're both equally qualified. I think. You said there are folks who feel. Mark says there's folks who feel they have to have a white face on their business, even in the 21st century. I got a good story for you, Mark. I was used for my race once. It was very humiliating. I didn't care. It really didn't matter. But no, I was working for an insurance. What exactly was it? It was an insurance company, I think. What exactly did they do? I don't know. It was a long time ago, but it was black. It was black run. I was like the white guy. I was the only white guy there. And then I got called into a meeting once. Like they were trying to solicit an account with this guy. And they called me into a meeting, and that I had nothing to do with. It had to do with nursing, and I handled, just general business stuff. And I'm like, why am I even going to this meeting? Like, what the hell? They're like, come on, Jeff, you just need this meeting. All right, whatever. I was there to be a white guy because the prospective buyer for the insurance was white. So I guess they wanted him to feel more comfortable. So I literally had nothing to offer other than just to sit in a chair and be white. I was a quota hire, Mark. I don't know, but so I don't even know if they got the account. I think they did actually, but yeah. So I mean, whatever. I guess it benefited me in that situation, huh? Well, that helped me out. I guess I don't know that it really helped me out, but it helped them out. It is. I know. Well, it happens too. It isn't. You're right, Mark. It isn't that uncommon. You see it too when like Ford Motor Company. I forget one company did it where they're like, "Hey, look how diverse we are," and they grab like a black guy who didn't even work really. Wasn't even an executive, and they just put him in the company photo. And it's like, come on, Come on, let's just it's insulting. It's ridiculous. And I felt his pain, Mark, because I'd been there. All I say is this, and I think it's very straightforward. Hire based on merit. And then however it turns out, however the company photo is going to wind up, whatever, that's how it winds up. It's all Asian, great. All Hispanic, great. All African-American, great. There's a bunch of white people. Okay, I'm fine with that too. Let's just get the best person for the job, regardless of race. That's how you get rid of racism. Let's not obsess on race and everything. And you can have this and I can have that. And the cultural appropriation, everything that's not designed to divide. And let's just love each other and get along. Can we all get along? So, as long ago as Rodney King said that, he was right. We all just get along. All right, let's check out New York Post here. Mowed down. Oh my God, this is a weird one. The California doctor was on a bike and went. Some guy hit him with his car, and then got out and stabbed him to death. Which, like, that sounds like a New York crime, but apparently it happened here in California. It's odd. Like, I feel like there must have been something that led up to that. Like either he was just trying to kill the doctor for something the doctor he felt did to him, or the guy was hogging the car lane and he just had enough of the bikers. I don't. One of those two things. The man's is obviously psychotic. They got a picture of him up here on the Post of the doctor and the guy who the suspect who supposedly killed him. And the guy, like, the suspect looks like a pleasant fella. I mean, he's a well-dressed. I think looks possibly Hispanic, but he's got a smile. I mean, he looks like a guy you wouldn't give him a second. Like, hey, that's a nice guy. I'm not going to have to worry about him. And there he goes, slamming into you, knocking you off your bike in his car, and then stabbing you. I mean, it's odd. I feel like there's more to this story than just some random guy who just hit some biker and stabbed him. But that's the front page on the Post. More spy balloon, but at least the Post isn't going as heavy on it as Fox was. Blinken China trip indefinitely over due to spy balloon fear. Again, I think it happens all the time. What, just because it's a balloon now we're going to care? I don't know. Was there like maybe a unsaid truce where we're like, okay, look, we kind of got some high tensions right now. We're not going to be as cool if you want to spy on us. Maybe that was said under, and not disclosed to us, but disclosed to the Chinese, and the Chinese broke that pact. Then okay, I guess you're right to be upset. I guess that actually makes sense. CBS execs tried to intervene to address Tony Romo's slippage. All right, I don't know what that means. I don't need to know more about Tony Romo. Oh, and the laptop is very prominent on the Post here too. Hunter's laptop. Hey, it's real. Hunter admitted it's real. And yet there's still liberal newspapers who have not done that. Hunter has admitted the laptop was his. And there are still liberal publications that have not said. Most of them have at this point. Most of them about 2 years after the fact, but most of them have admitted. But I think there's still a couple liberal publications that have not yet said, or at least come out and been like, we were wrong. That Hunter, everything on that Hunter laptop was completely true. Not some of it, not part of it, not Russian collusion. It's all 100% true. Nothing made up. It's all there. And then, now that the Republicans have control of Congress, you're going to see some investigations into this. And, from the Republican angle, it's going to focus. I mean, we know what Hunter is. I mean, hopefully he gets better, but at the time, certainly that the laptop was taken in, he was a drug-addled, sex fiend, apparently. Making his money through influence peddling. And the influence peddling part is the part that I feel like is going to be looked at clearly by the new Congress, as it should. So we can finally, connect the big guy to the big guy. Again, this is one, it's like, we all knew the laptop was true. Everybody, the media knew it. They purposely said it was misinformation, Russian collusion, whatever they had to get Joe Biden across the finish line. Completely corrupt, disgusting for what's supposed to be an objective media, absolutely corrupt in doing it. And so now they're going to do the same thing with the big guy. Oh no. I mean, even back then they knew the big guy was Joe Biden, but again, the same thing. So they've admitted now, the media, reluctantly, that the whole laptop was real, but they will never cover that Joe Biden is the, in fact, beneficiary of all, which he obviously has to be the big guy. It's not even a question. that he's the beneficiary of money from these companies and groups in order for influence, in order to let them get what they want, which is favorable treatment from the U.S. That's the influence peddling. But yet that part, again, even though everything on the laptop is true, that part somehow the media won't cover. They're going to, we're not sure about that. That's really Biden. It's Biden. Stop it. Just stop it. Mark, all politicians are not corrupt. A lot of them are. But all are not. But a lot of them are. Yeah, all politicians are corrupt. I think if they have junk on their laptops. Yeah, I mean, maybe what's that next? Maybe we'll just get the FBI to kick in some doors. They'll all be Republican if it's the FBI because they don't do Democrats. Kick in and just see what's on their laptops. I think you're right about that, Mark. I'm guaranteed there is a lot of shady stuff on politicians' laptops. I would be into that. Like just suddenly like one of those, hacker groups hacks into like every politician's laptop and just puts out what's out there. Non-classified, preferably. I don't want any data breaches in that regard, but just see what all these people are up to. I bet you it's horrifying. Yeah, what's on the laptop? That would be a great game show. You'd have to bring it. The contestants would all have to be unwilling. Like they'd be congressional people will be like, or Senate people like, what the hell's going on? And then people grab them, they're brought in. They're sat down, and then they pull up their laptop and they go, "What's on the laptop?" And then 3 contestants have to guess whether it's sexually related, whether it's drugs, whether it's all 3, or none of the above. It could be on something. It violates all of our Constitution, Mark, but that's all right. It's still a great show. It would be watched. It would be really, really well watched. Especially, you get the Democrats and the Republicans. Get their like Pelosi or something, or you get Getz, someone big prominent person, So each side can have their fun. See, I'm about sharing. All right. Pizza work. A mob hitman known for, all right, he's dissolving pizza and acid found working at pizzeria. All right. Well, I don't know, did he do his time? I hope he did a lot of time for that. That sounds awful. Pizza's being made by a mob hitman. That's weird. Again, more China balloon stuff. All right, let's go to Yahoo just for a change from the China balloon. Or they have China balloon top as usual. Here we go. All right, Yahoo, which of course is very liberal. Usual explanations don't add up to 30-point gap. All right, so they're bagging on Trump. Again, well, I guess now he's officially announced that he's running for 2024. So technically, okay, you can cover him. But I mean, what the hell were you covering him? Just slandering the man for the last 2 years. He wasn't even running for nothing because you knew he was going to run. Yeah, right. And you're corrupt. And so, yeah, I get it now. I get it, liberal media. Okay. And then Jessica Simpson's going around talking about all the people she slept with. Congratulations. That's terrific for you. Homestead. Okay. I don't even want to read that. That's just teacher. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to CNN. Wait, I got to read this again. This one's intriguing to me. I don't think there's going to be much more information here than I told you before, but Orange County doctor identified as cyclist who was struck from behind and stabbed in Dana Point, which is a very affluent area. It's so odd. It's just odd to me, but I'll keep you updated on that. Let's go to CNN. I always like to go to CNN. Obviously, they're going to crap all over Trump. Hey, what happened to January 6th? When that disappeared? I haven't seen it like in the last couple of weeks. It's like, oh, well, the midterms are over. And nobody really cared about January 6th to begin with, even though we got some big producer to come in and make it like, must-see TV. We still lost the House. Now it's gone. I mean, there's a blurb here there. This person was whatever. Don't get me wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I kind of like it. But I mean, nobody cared to begin with. People cared when it happened. But after that, not so much. I'm losing my voice a little bit. All right, here we go. Let's go to CNN. And as I said that, it'll probably be nothing but January 6th coverage, by the way. I know they got the balloon too. All right, everyone's up on this balloon. I swear it's just because it's a balloon. Like, oh, it's a balloon and they're spying on us. Ah. I wish they made it like colorful, like, like cartoons on the side, or maybe just China flag or something like that. Pentagon rejects claim that the balloon is a civilian research airship. Yeah, it's definitely not a civilian research airship. That's a spy It's a spy balloon. They have satellites that spy on us too. And then we got also up here, astonishing, remarkable. We're running out of adjectives to describe this stunning jobs report. Oh! Well, you know what? From what I understand, it's a good jobs report. Well, that's great. Good. That's a good thing. I mean, I'm happy. But holy cow! Oh my! What over the top for Joe Biden? I mean, if Trump had the same jobs report, which I think he did, he had the lowest unemployment for African Americans, I think, in history, right? I don't recall CNN ever going astonishing, remarkable. We're running out of adjectives to describe the low rate of African American unemployment under Trump. The fix is in, folks. The fix is in. But good. Hey, I'm all for a low unemployment. We've got a lot of other problems, but you know what? I'm not going to slam someone if something good happens. I'll be saying, oh, okay, great. Maybe take some advice from that media. Let someone breathe a little when things are going pretty good. They get bad. All right. These Florida brothers ran one of the largest opioid pill farms. Okay. Oh my God. I'm sorry. That was hysterical though. Like CNN they're like, I'm amazed they didn't put that ahead of the China balloon. Crazy. All right. I think that's about it. I think I'm all out of gas, but I had a good time today. I enjoyed chatting with you, Mark. Oh, it's Valentine's Day is coming up, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Nikki. I love Nikki. She's great. Nikki Haley. She's announcing. I really think she's terrific. DeSantis, phenomenal. He's my first choice. But however it plays out, it's going to play out. So I will vote for whoever the candidate is on the Republican side. But I do like Nikki Haley a lot. She's great. And some combination of them would be great. Like Haley and DeSantis, and you got Trump, and maybe mix and match there a little bit. Obviously, Trump would never go for VP, but my only issue with Trump running is he's just immediately everything gets reset to the way it was, where it's just like the vote, like, Biden, Trump, it just goes back because the anger and hostility and rage on the left towards the man that has been, bred into them basically by the media, has not gone anywhere. They'll be like, oh, we got to get angry about Trump again, and they'll be like, rah! And so it literally sets up the exact same fight as before. Whereas and Trump lost that one, unfortunately, and a little shadiness. But the DeSantis, I like him so much because he's just done such an amazing job in New York, and he's not Trump. So that even though the Democrats will, be told to hate him, they won't already have that fermented hate just waiting to activate on a dime. They'll have to build up to it. And if they actually do some research and look at the man and listen to him, they might not, vote against him. So I just feel like he would be the better choice. I feel like if you send Trump out, there's just so much rage and hostility against him on the left that it's hard to overcome. It's really hard to overcome. I'm not saying it can't be overcome, but it makes for a very difficult fight, I think. But that's my opinion. And Nikki Haley, I like. She's great. And again, same thing with her. She's really terrific. And the left the leftist media will foment hate against her and try and make her out to be someone horrible. But it will take time. It's not instantly there. You can just call that out right away if Trump goes. And even when Haley announced, I think she announced a couple of days ago, I'm like, oh, good, I really like her. And there's pictures of her. She's smiling, and here she's nominating. And then I think it was Yahoo. Showed like just a very unflattering picture of her, purposely selected to be unflattering, where she's got her head out kind of like this. It's like a side angle, and they're like, Haley announces it. I'm like, really? That's the picture you went with? That's the one. Oh, you're so corrupt. Mainstream media, you're just so corrupt. Anyway, it'll probably be Ali Frazier rematch. Oh, you know what? Honestly, now that you mention it, Mark, I mean, just from a completely very selfish standpoint, I would love to see a debate again with Trump, Biden. Ali Frazier. Now you got me interested, Mark, just from a curiosity standpoint. You might be right. All right. Thank you, everyone. God bless. Thank you to my amazing producers, always Mark, who keeps me honest. And I hope you all have a great week. Please join me at jeffahern.com if you haven't already. It's just $3 a month, and you get all my news pieces, all the new stuff. I'm doing a new segment now, also called An Honest Review, which will be up there as well, where I just review things honestly. How about that? So thank you. Have a great week. God bless. And I will see you next week. Bye. I'm still here. Come on, Mark. I was just plugging you.
Funketeers from all over the galaxy are headed to planet Earth for the Funk and Future Festival, a hybrid event celebrating the influence and impact of historic and current funk artists through a technical and cultural lens. Taking place February 26 at the Haytide Cultural Center in Durham, North Carolina. Featuring Zach Robertson and the Nappy Head Funk Army and Tony Cam and the Funk All-Stars in concert and in the metaverse. Tickets available now at funktology.com.
Of the human race. Oh man, as we sit and ponder, I wonder, hey, I drop down to pause.
Hello and welcome to Newsday with Jeff Ahern. I'm your host, Jeff Ahern. Today's top story. As an olive branch to liberals, I've created a list of 10 things that if you implement, will guarantee to make your 2023 the best year ever. First, stop wearing a mask. COVID is well past the point of being remotely fatal for most people. So stop with the virtue signaling. The Democrat bumper sticker on your car is plenty. You don't also need one for your face. Second, if things in your community keep getting worse, stop blaming the party that's not even in charge and stop voting for the one that is. Third, trans male athletes have no place in women's sports, period. Or if you can't have a period, you have no place in women's sports. That doesn't mean you can't identify as female, but you no longer get to swap out being a mediocre male athlete for a record-setting female one. Fourth, don't be angry when free speech is returned to places like Twitter. Be angry you are okay that it left. Arguments that can't stand in the face of facts are meant to fall, not to be propped up in a fact-free vacuum. Fifth, get woke, go broke is not a possibility. It's a promise. Sixth, there are two sexes, male and female. The rest are reindeer games. Just so we're clear, reindeers also only have two sexes. Seventh, if you really want to end racism, be an American first. You'll never end racism by making each and every decision based solely on race, or for that matter, voting for a party that does the same. Eighth, admit Joe Biden does not have the mental capability to lead a song, let alone our country. I don't know who is leading this country. All I know is their name was not on the ballot. Ninth, when it comes to education, you help kids by raising their standards, not lowering them. And if you think minorities can't meet the most basic educational benchmarks, then it is your inherent racism that is holding back their inherent intelligence. And 10th, though it really should be number 1, everything is not racist. And if someone tells you it is, see rule number 1. And lastly, treat common sense as a dear friend, not a mortal enemy, and refuse to vote for anyone or any party that tries to tell you different. Hello and welcome to Newsday with Jeff Ahern. I'm your host, Jeff Ahern. Today's top story. Victoria's Secret CEO Amy Hawke is stepping down as wokeness has turned Victoria's Secret from a lingerie juggernaut into a pantyhose penny stock, with shares plunging lower than their necklines. Sales had already been down, but rather than stemming losses through creativity or innovation, Victoria's Secret found a woke cliff and decided to jump off it. swapping out the angels for models who eat a lot of angel food cake, ones who look more at home in a pie eating contest than walking a runway, though they got rid of that too. Probably didn't want to pay for all the rebar. Heidi Klum, Gisele Bündchen, and Tyra Banks were replaced by a new group called the VS Collective. Great, so you're socialist too. This is like if the NFL rebranded by getting rid of the Super Bowl and replaced it with a wiffle ball game played by team equipment managers. I know, not allowed to say anything against plus-size models. They're living their best life. A short one, filled with diabetes and coronary artery disease. And let's not forget Victoria's Secret also made America-hating Megan Rapinoe their spokesperson, going from yowza to yubba yay. There was a time when people used to get excited by a Victoria's Secret catalog. Now they're just looking inside for KFC coupons. This is a free country. Weigh as much as you want, but stop demanding everyone else find you attractive for it. As a species, we have biological inclinations as to what we find beautiful. Brad Pitt didn't get a lot more girls than Stephen Hawking because of his intellect. One was a theoretical physicist. The other was a Thelma and Louise star. Yet women clearly had a preference. And how come woke celebrities aren't dating what they preach? They don't get involved with a plus-size anything outside of their egos. Stop telling me what I'm supposed to find attractive. Then, in your personal lives, date the exact opposite. And that would include Megan Rapinoe. Tell me, Megan, why is it okay for you to have an athletic, fit partner, but when a company decides to use the exact same parameters in their advertising that you do in selecting a mate, they're sizist or some other made-up liberal word? Rapinoe says, I think functionality is probably the sexiest thing we could achieve in life. You know, like that Eric Clapton love song, Functional Tonight. Let me break this down for you, Victoria's Secret, because somebody clearly needs to. Your product is sexy underwear. If you take out the sexy, all you're left with is underwear. In which case, why not just buy Fruit of the Loom? Their underwear is cheap and functional. And according to your very own spokesperson, nothing is sexier than functionality.